This video offers some strategies for decision-making around any outstanding course assessments that you're trying to make a decision as to how to proceed from here. So the case being that you still have some remaining assessments as part of the course, and the question really becomes, to date, have you addressed the learning outcomes in the course? And there's really two possibilities here. So either all of the learning outcomes have been assessed at least one way, or that at least one learning outcome still needs to be assessed. If the latter applies, so all the learning outcomes have been assessed at least one way, then we suggest one of two options, either to drop the assessment or redistribute the grade. Alternatively, if you still have some outcomes that require assessment, then one possibility would be to create an alternative assignment. So what do I mean by each of these options? To drop the assessment, what you're essentially doing is calculating the final course grade based on the assessments that have completed to date. If you're redistributing the grade, this is the reweighing option. So you're reassigning the weight of outstanding course assessments to other assessment components that have been completed. Finally, to create an alternate assignment means to create an alternative form of either engagement or performance and having your students complete that in lieu of the assignment that may have required face-to-face engagement. Of course, all of this, it's important to be checking with your faculty and department for more localized guidance on the decision making. But let me elaborate a little bit further on each of these options to give you something of an example. Here's a case example where the course as originally designed had 3 assignments, a participation grade, a midterm, and a final. You can see the general organization of where certain learning outcomes within this course were being met. So learning outcomes from identify through to discuss were met in various components across the course, or targeted at least. And it's the final exam that is now the problem. We need to find some other solution for that final exam that is currently worth the 30%. To drop the assessment means that we're going to eliminate that final exam. We're not going to hold that in any format anymore. And to drop it in this approach means that students' grades will now be calculated based on the 70% of the work that they have completed to date. So they've done all 3 assignments, the participation, the midterm, they've earned their 70% of that coursework, and now their final grade is going to be based off that 70% of performance. The option of redistributing the grade means that you're going to take the weight of that assessment that had not been completed and redistribute it to other components, other assessments that have been completed to date. So if it's the final that hasn't been completed, you're looking to redistribute that 30% upwards to other assessments that have been completed. But how is it that you go about making this decision? You wouldn't necessarily take that 30% and put it all on participation, for example. What we're encouraging you to do is to consider the learning outcomes that were achieved or were intended to be achieved through that final assessment. So in this case, it's to describe, to practice, and critique. Now, there are other assessments that were also targeting that learning outcome in this course, and so that's where we would want to take that 30% and redistribute it. So rather than put it on participation, where there's not really the alignment between those learning outcomes of the final and the learning outcomes of participation, we are moving the 30% where there is that alignment. So here's the example played out. So the 30% becomes 0, and the redistribution is a decision as to how to take that 30% and put it some on the midterm, some on assignment 3, and some on assignment 2, because from this instructor's perspective, that's where there's the closest alignment between those intended learning outcomes of the various assignments. Finally, to create an alternative assignment is to say, The final was going to be accomplished in one way. That's no longer possible or feasible. So, for example, a face-to-face invigilated exam that might have been maybe multiple choice questions. Instead, we're going to reconsider an alternative way in which students can demonstrate those same kind of learning outcomes, the describe, practice, and critique in this example, and find another way for that to be accomplished by the students. So this is an example. There's many ways in which you could take this, but the final, instead of it being multiple choice, could be an essay submission.